I think that's good. Got audio, we got video. Just check here. Now live, yep. Outstanding. Hello everybody, how are we doing tonight? Got a couple things on the docket for tonight, and we're gonna get started with some designing, but first I am trying to find, that's it there. I think this is it. My daughter needs a staff, and I need to print one. I already have one, because I made Gandalf the White staff. I fixed it a long time ago, and that's fine. Finish base feature. I have the staff here. I just need to print a few pieces of it. How tall are these? $200 mil. Where's it? There it is. So 200 mil, what's like 8 inches? Like 2 of those. She wants a mini staff, so I got to do that. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? So I'll export that in a minute. But the main thing to do tonight is, well, I'm printing. Let's go here. So right there, I've got the Tina2S that I unboxed and started printing with last night. It is hard at work. I've been printing with it most of the day, on and off, I guess, as I've been remembering. Come in, print something. I'm printing a full-size spool holder for it that actually someone had modified the Prusa Mini spool holder to be able to fit on that bed, which was very cool. So they kind of just cut some of the protective away that was covering the bearings. So they just kind of, but everything else the same size. They just took some off of each side here. And now I have 1/2 of a spool holder for that now. There's a few other ones that I found online that looked pretty good. So I might print a few different ones when I actually do the review video, just to give people options. But yeah, no, I was super happy to find this. Print quality on this machine is, well, I'm don't know right now if it's the filament, but the walls are great. The infill though is a little under extruded. And so is the bottom layer. So I do think there's a little bit of tweaking that can be done, or figuring out how to adjust the Z offset a little bit, maybe just lower that down. I haven't looked into how to actually change it on this machine. It is using Marlin, their own, they've customized Marlin a bit to do it, but definitely is Marlin. I just need to figure out how to change the Z offset on it. Just haven't looked into the menu yet. I'm sure it's in there, just haven't done it. And then, so yeah, that was most of today. I'm prepping for another video here or a live stream. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I have a laser engraver to try out. I haven't tried one in a long time. So, who was it? Geek Buying sent me one to try out. But tonight, the main thing that I want to do and spend some time designing is a Lego sorter. So if you're not familiar with what a Lego sorter is, you can buy them. People have 3D printed them. Bob from I Like to Make Stuff made one to go on like the side of his table, his like work table or Lego table. He can just attach it, put the Legos in, they all filter down. So what I'm looking to do is, I think roughly we're gonna do, I'm thinking roughly 2 feet by 2 feet. So this is 2 feet here. And it is stacking squares that are about anywhere between like an inch, 1.5 inches thick. And they put a bunch of holes in them. And as you go down, the top has the biggest holes. And as you go all the way down the bottom, all the way down, so they're smaller than a 1x1 stud, which is very small. Let's see here. I've got one in here somewhere. So again, if you're not familiar, that's not a stud. Here. This is a 1x1 stud. Okay? Very teeny tiny. Focus on my hand, please. Not going to. Anyways, I mean, it's about 1/3 of your fingernail. So the holes have to be smaller than that at the very, very bottom. And it's also nice because it helps get dust out that way. So as you're sorting, you're also getting all the dust kind of shimmy down to the bottom, which is nice, or any debris that has gotten in there, because kids are kids. So I want to design, I'm going to get 1 sheet of plywood, and I want to see what I can fit. So I already have here, let me see if, hang on 1 second, I need to get this to work. My display capture's not working. There we go. Okay. So I have here, hear me okay? Yeah, everything's still working. I have here what is 1 sheet of plywood here. So it's 1.2 meters by 2.4 meters is what a sheet is. And I need to do, again, I'm roughly doing 2 feet. I'm going to see what fits, because it might, my measurements might just be a little bit different, just given the size of the lumber that I can get. So that's about 60 centimeters, 600, what we'll do here. So, but if I just divide this in half, there's half right there. So half is 610. Let's do that right there. That's fine. So this just makes it easy for me to see all my measurements, and I also can do out, and you can create a drawing with Fusion, which is also kind of helpful. So if I'm going to make this, basically it's going to be a cut sheet, this initial, what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to actually 3D design it. But you can create basically like your cut sheet and then print this out and take it with you, because I don't have a table saw. So I'm actually going to have the shop cut this for me, which will make life just easier. And then, so if we're going 610, so I want it to be a square, so we're going to go 610 the other way. Please. And that gives me, perfect. So that gives me 8 pieces right there. Now there will be a little, I'll lose about 1/8 of an inch because of the curve of the blade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up just having them cut it in half down the middle, and then cut each piece in half. And we'll cut the whole thing in half first, and then cut them in half, and then half and half. And that way I'll have all pieces exactly the same size, because that's really going to matter here, because they all have to stack. So there we have just a simple cut sheet for what each of that is going to be. No, I didn't want that one. That's fine. Okay, so since we have that, why is my mouse inverted? Anyways, all right. So we're just going to go ahead and start with our first rectangle, 610 by 610. We're going to extrude this up. What would 3/8 be? It's probably going to be 10 mil, if I had to guess, or it's 8 mil. We'll just do 8 mil on that. And then, where did you go away? There you are. We're going to do an offset to this, because I have, I'm going to say it's 20 mil is the wood that I have to go around it. And it is 1 inch thick, so that's going to be 22 mil tall. That's not correct. It's definitely not that thick. We'll do this. Maybe it's only 12 mil. That looks more like it. Now, the one thing I haven't figured out, though, is how in the world am I going to get all of these holes in a pattern? because I can do a sketch on here, okay, and we can do a circle. If you type 1-inch, Fusion will convert. Oh, I didn't know that, Aaron. Thank you. Because if we do, you know, it does do that. That's very cool, Aaron. Thank you. So you can create a pattern with anything. So I can select that as my thing. The direction can kind of go whatever way I want to, like that and that. And I just have to pick, you know, let's say it's 8. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to figure out though, because I'd like them to be kind of staggered, and I don't know how to do that. Because I want them to be fairly frequent. You know, I don't want it to be I go that. I go, can't go back and do that. But yeah, so if I move that there, and now we do our pattern, we're patterning that. We're gonna do, say, 10, come across to there. We're doing 10 that way. So yeah, that's about even-ish. That might not be enough holes though. We do 12 by 12, maybe? Diagonal. Nope, one direction. I don't know how to do it on a diagonal, Aaron. I have to say, I can move this back like that. Yeah, I don't know how to do that on an angle. I mean, because if you did circular, it doesn't do much there. No, I don't want to do that. Can't pick my, so it's that. It doesn't work out. Didn't know I could do what? Oh, I missed your comment. What did I do? Because these are all, the one direction and symmetrics are, because that goes both directions. I just wanted to do one direction. But the circular doesn't work. I guess I could do, oh, here's what I can do. Let's do 10, okay? Or no, we said 12 here. No, dang it. Rectangular pattern, that, going this way. Doing 12. Or we'll go this way, that doesn't matter. seems to be about the same. So if we do that, okay? And then now, if I draw a line from here at 45 degrees, I'll draw a line from here, there's that point there. So if I do that, I do 1 inch, let's delete that, and delete you. So now if I create a pattern here, I can go down to there. If I do 9, 10, so 10 on that one as well. Oh, I did 10 because the other one's 12. No, I need to do 11. There we go. Now it's evenly spaced. I hit OK. So now I can create a rectangular pattern using all of these. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but this is looking like what's going to work out for me. We're going to go this way and 12, 11. That looks pretty even like that. Going out to there. Because what I'll end up doing is, the way that works is the best way. So, okay. Yeah. Because what I'll end up doing is, I'll export this and I can print it on a couple pages and I can just glue it onto the wood and then just do all of the, draw all the holes. The only thing about this way is that I am uneven with the amount that I have because I'd like it to be even across. So doing 11, I guess I'm just a little perturbed that this corner and this corner don't have anything there. So I would have to, would I do that? So let's undo that. Let's try this again. So rectangular pattern, let's click all of these guys. I don't want the center points, I need the actual circles. We're gonna go this way. We're gonna say 12. I'm gonna line up these last holes like that. And I'll hit OK, and I'm just gonna delete these ones here. There. Now that looks more even. And then if I take just to check, so here to here is 34.6. $30, $38. So they're not quite perfect. Hey Ryan, how you doing? But I guess it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Because I don't have, if I had a CNC or if I knew how to do any of that stuff, I could do it. It seems we're a smidge too far in one of these directions. Because from here to here is 34, down there's to 38. But to this one is 40 and 30, 34. Yeah, they're all different dimensions apart from each other. So I guess this initial one that I did was not perfectly centered. It's like Gummer's close enough. That is very true. But I'm going to try one more time. Okay, we're going to undo here. Can you undo, please? Okay, undo that, undo that. and I'm going to delete this one. So instead, we're going to go there, come out the center point like that. Now this, the 45 meets there. Okay. Now I can delete these lines here. Now that is centered. We need 11 of them, right? I guess I need I need that first so that I know how far to pull this down. Right there. Nope, that did not do it. Oh, okay, that did all that. Sweet. All right, redo that. So that'll move the whole line. There we go. Okay. Now they're even Steven. Okay. Last time now. Let's copy all these. And Brandon, how you doing? I think we said we're doing, what did I do? 11? Suppression feature. I've never used that before, Aaron. Or at least maybe I have and I just don't know what it is. But as far as government work goes, I think that will do it. So that's only kind of part of this. Now, let's finish that sketch. Because we said that was 12. So the thing we have to 3D print though is we're going to need to 3D print a what's it called? Registry, basically. So we're going to go underneath here and create a sketch. Hopefully they won't. We're going to turn off those sketches there. Okay. So we need to go basically. Oh, I'm on this last sketch. There we go. And then 12 down. Okay, so this is the corner of where I want my registry to be. I need this to be, I guess 30 is pretty good. 30. And then we'll just do a diagonal like that. Should be about, let's do 10 mil. This is a new body. And then I'm going to -0.1 and a -0.1. We're going to do a fillet on these two. A mil is fine. I want that corner to stay sharp. And then I'm going to do all of that. Add this by a mil. Like that. Now the one thing though is attachment. What I was going to do was cut the plywood down, drill the holes, and then attach the frame. Because what I'll do is, instead of cutting all of the frame to size first, I'll cut each piece individually to make sure that it is 100% to size. And then I'm just going to glue and brad nail it together, because that'll be more than strong enough. The wood glue is crazy strong. But to attach this, I'll just have to measure, because they will all essentially go the same way. And they don't have to be super tight. That's the other thing. Like, I just need these to be able to go on top. I'm going to put casters on the bottom. So basically think of this as like a file cabinet. You've got casters on the bottom of the file cabinet. So when you move it around, you want it all generally to stay together. So I guess it doesn't have to be terribly tight. But I will just, I don't know how I want to attach this. If I make it smaller, if I only do this as 5 mil, I could just brad nail it on and use some CA glue and just brad nail it on there. And it's just going to be 4 of those, 1 in each corner. Super simple. And they don't need to be big, but at least they will be out of the way, because that's the other thing here. And what I should have done is I should have extruded all these holes first. But again, I guess it really doesn't matter too much on this for now. Or I guess no, I can do that with it and get the pattern. Because what I can always do is just from here to there. Okay, so I know 23 in is my first one, and then I can just measure down. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Delete that. Oh, wait, leave that on. I can just figure, okay, those are 48 and change apart, and then, or just measure it live and say, okay, I need to get 12 through here, whatever. But that's the basic idea for this. Again, using that wood along the edge. This is just the plywood. You can see here is the main piece, a main sheet of plywood that I'll be cutting down to size and getting 8. I might not need all 8, but because I don't really know how many layers other people have done for this. That's not what I want. Let's see here. Let me go back to here. Let's do that. There we go. Just trying to see if there's someone that has an idea of how big to make these holes, because I don't know. It tells you what size people have done them for. Those are puzzle trays. I don't want a puzzle tray. That's not what we want here. None of that. It doesn't exist anymore. I know, oh, what's his name? That inventor guy. He makes all kinds of things. He made one recently that he actually 3D printed with like a vacuum cleaner, which was pretty cool. Let's see. No, I just need someone to give me some sizes. So this one is 22, 17, and 10 in three different ones. I know there was somebody that had a wooden one made, and it was Unnecessary Inventions. That's his name. He made one. But these were 1 inch. How big were these? Those are 25. But I think I would want to go a little bit bigger initially. Yeah, I would have to. Definitely would have to. It's definitely a conundrum of things to think about. But I think I'll just kind of worry about that in a little bit, trying to just figure out how big I want to go and then how to cut them. So I do have a jigsaw now because I got one for Christmas. And I don't have my Forester bit set. So I do need to kind of figure out how in the world am I going to drill these all, because there's a lot of holes to drill. That'll be the next thing to try to figure out. But for right now, I know the size I need. I can start cutting everything down and then worrying about cutting them out later, I guess, drilling all the holes. Yeah, so I have that generally figured out. I'm going to go ahead and I'll switch to here, like that. And we'll start getting ready to print this for the little one. I guess the big one. It's my oldest daughter this is for. So I'm just going to do this one. So save as mesh. Yeah, and then we'll put this downloads, and this will be staff bottom. And then we'll do one of this one here. Save as mesh. Staff middle. Then we come to here. We can load in staff middle, staff bottom. Need to orient you guys. That and that. And then we need to downsize you to 50%. And that is pretty much it. I don't know if 50% is too small though. Okay, that's fine. So this is 93 mil tall. So it's only that big. What are proportions get jacked up if I did that taller? Yes, that's fine. Yeah, that looks weird. So we're going to scale all of them up a little bit more. That makes this now 117. It's still really small. And then 125, 250. What's that? Oh, so that's 250, and then another. So then that's 337 plus. So that's 4. We'll call it 450. is the end all height. That's not too bad. That might be all right. So she wants this as a small staff because she's doing Dungeons and Dragons at school. She created her own little elf mage. She designed it and she drew it up, and now she wanted some kind of staff. And I was like, well, I know I created this a while ago because I printed it for a friend back in, what was that, 2017? Late 2017, early 2018, I printed this for him. Obviously full scale, but having this be just a little bit smaller might make it easier. Now, I'm not going to print this on Hound. I would print this on Metroplex because Metroplex only goes up and down. And I would do this, 20% is fine. We'll do this in ABS. 0.2 is fine. What we want to do are our layers. We're going to do 4 perimeters just to make sure it is nice and sturdy. And I'll probably turn down my speed as well. And the goal is to paint this as well. I don't know if we'll have time to paint it before Wednesday, but let's go and add a brim to these. Outer brim only. Do this 10 mil. Yeah, just give that a nice big base, glue stick that down. But yeah, so the nice thing about Metroplex, it's an FT5. So the bed is the only thing, the bed only moves up and down. X and Y are what move because it's I guess technically it's an HBot style printer. Because the Y is independent of the X. It's not like Core XY. So this uses 3 motors, 1 on X, 2 on Y, where Core XY only uses 2 motors to control X and Y simultaneously, depending on which way they turn, moves the head a certain way. So I think that will be, I think that'll probably be the best way to go is with that printer. Now it's gonna have to be, I need to get out filament here soon. All right. That should hopefully work out. And then, yeah, the bottom's already rounded off. That'll be fine. Just make sure all of this is okay. And that looks okay. I want to change the infill though to, that's on stars. I want it to be adaptive cubic. I think is what I want. Let's see, what does, let's switch to support cubic. Slice and dice. I definitely want that because that makes the whole bottom empty. All right, so adaptive cubic is what we're going to go with. Adaptive cubic. Yeah, that'll work out well. That'll do, Dragon, that'll do. Hopefully it's not too small, but I guess if it is, it'll be all right. Oh, I wanted to check speeds. Okay, it's only doing 50 millimeters a second. That's why it's taken me nearly 8 hours to print this. That's okay. That's not too bad. Just needs to be nice and slow and not mess up those fine details on it because we're going to sand it a little bit just to prep it for painting, but then we're going to get the airbrush kit and I think we're going to try to paint it that way. I'm not digging out that filament right now. Magnets. do 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 do. Delete that. Okay. What else do I need to get done? I guess I'll show you guys some of the prints here from the Tina 2, the little guy here. Because you saw just the little cube here. Really hard to tell because it's freaking white. Then I did the low poly Pikachu. There we go. So you can see there's that step at the bottom there. That was, I think that's whenever I moved the printer. But again, it could also be their filament. I'm still using the filament that came with it is almost out now. There's a little bit left there though. I'm just trying to use it up as much as I can because obviously people who buy that are going to be using that filament to start with most likely. They had a little flexi fish, which had no problem whatsoever. Definitely under extruded though, which I won't be able to show on this camera, at least I highly doubt. You can see a little bit there. See over the raft, definitely under extruded that first layer on the raft. And that could just be that the raft separation was a little bit too much. I think it was set to 0.24. And while the raft did come off fairly easily, that is the easier the raft is to get off, the worse your bottom layer looks. In my experience, because I don't do raft very often. And then today, now this one had a few skips in it that I did not do, but there is this little dragon guy. Can you please? It's really hard to focus on this white stuff. But there's a skip here in his middle, a little bit like a bump, and then a little bit of a skip on one of the wings. But overall, it's not half bad quality. This one was done, I think, a 0.1. This one took quite a while. I think it took like three hours or so to print this little guy. Where like Pikachu was an hour and change. I think it was an hour for the fish because there's so many retractions in it. And you definitely can tell here. So this is the bottom layer. This is with no raft on it. Can you please? That's really hard to focus on it. But anyways, it's doggone white in this stupid webcam. Bottom layers definitely are not great. Now, what this printer is for, does that matter very much? No. But again, it's me maybe trying to find that Z offset and just lower it just a skosh more. Might end up being better in the long run. Because if I look at the raft even has some, looks like it's a little too far as well. Vince, how you doing, buddy? So I did notice something interesting though after I finished printing. I don't know if it was from this or not. So I'm actually going to check now while it's still printing. I mean, it's... So that Y motor gets incredibly hot. And I think it actually deformed and melted my table here a little bit. It's hard to tell because I can't really remember if I had the printer that far forward or if I had it back more on the table last night. I might go back to my live stream and look where on the table did I have it sitting. But the table's definitely deformed now, and I don't remember that being there whenever I was doing the videos for the Voron Legacy, which is currently sitting right there. I don't know if I don't remember doing that. So I definitely need to go back and look at the video and see the placement of that. But that could be a potentially pretty big issue depending on what you're setting this printer on, that it could melt the plastic, because this table is ABS plastic. You know, I mean, these are those Sam's Club tables. I mean, they're doggone sturdy for what they are, and for as much as they cost. They're what, like 30 or 40 bucks? They're not much money. So I'm wondering if this thing legit started to melt my table, because it definitely deformed it. Definitely deformed it. So that definitely could be a reason why, to go back to them and say, hey, you need to put like an aluminum plate on the bottom to cover that up and help dissipate that heat a little bit from that motor. That little NEMA 14 motor, it's pretty toasty. Definitely a weird thing. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that on other printers, but I don't ever remember the motors getting that hot that it would actually deform the table. What was that? Oh. That's got about 15 minutes left on that second, I should say. Yeah, I still need to print. That's another one of these. Well, half of it. I need to print the other one after this then. And then I can start. Then I think there's a couple other ones. Here, I'll show you guys here. You kind of get a little sneak peek to it. So this is the one here. This is the mini spool holder. And again, they just took the one from the Prusa Mini and sliced down, you know, that part of it there, which is cool. I found this fan duct, which is pretty cool, but it's 10 euros, so I'm not paying that. But I think that's definitely something I'm going to look into, is maybe figuring out how to create this. Doesn't look terribly hard, but I wonder if I can find something else that's similar that I can modify for that. This dude made an enclosure for it, which was pretty cool, to enclose the front and back. I thought that was pretty sweet. This is a pretty simple one for a spool holder. It basically just clips over the one that's already there. I thought that was pretty ingenious. I'm probably going to print this one just to try it out. The only issue with this one, if you look at this picture, it doesn't offset the spool back. So the way your filament run is a little weird. And if you have a full spool, I'd be a little afraid of it starting to unwind too much, honestly. So that's the only real issue, excuse me, with this one. There's some comments here. Whoops, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, people like it. Only been done a couple times, but yeah. And then there was not that one. I had one here. Is it this one? Yeah, so this one here at least pulls it out. It does use bearings, and it uses a piece of, what do you think it said, carbon fiber rod? Yeah, 8mm carbon tube. So I know I have some carbon tube, but I don't know if it's 8mm, because it's what I used on the Hypercube. I still have, I think I kept the old pieces, but I still had a tube left. I can't remember if it was 8mm or 10mm though. So this might end up being a non-starter because I don't have the tube that it requires to do it. But again, at least this brings the spool out, it faces it, and then it's a much easier filament path, which is nice. It's just, it makes, the one nice thing about this printer is it's so doggone small. So if you buy any of those, you know, 200-gram spools, or even, is AO Robotics still around? Because they have some nice small spools. Okay, MegaBot, those would be okay. I guess AO Robotics is gone. I might need to email them. So Gizmodorks, even though it's garbage filament, that size spool, those 200-gram spools are what fit that printer. We got these ones here, some multicolors. Here's another small spools. I'd gotten a couple like marble and things like that from some company. Amelin, that's it. Amelin has sent me stuff in the past. And I mean, so that's 800 grams, not even a kilogram, for $37. That is slightly a ripoff, my friends. That's a lot of money for not a lot of filament. Especially because that's just straight up PLA. Matte black, white, olive green, and navy blue. And yet the color changing stuff is cheaper. I don't really understand that. But it's really like them and Gizmo Dorks, and then a couple no names that do the 200 gram spools. So it's an interesting thing to do for Weedo. So it's not Weedo, it's actually the Tina 2 is the Monoprice Cadet. Let's look that up real quick here. So someone had said, yeah, so I think Monoprice is the one that made this. And then they white boxed it to other companies. Like Weedo, and there was another one. I don't know. Oh, it looks like Joel did a video on this 2.5 years ago. But yeah, they're using the Monoprice spools. So that makes a lot more sense because the Monoprice are all thinner spools, and they're only, I think, 500 or 750 grams. So that makes a lot of sense why they would do that. But yeah, it really just is unfortunate to have such a small spool holder there. Do they have a link to their filament down here? No. Oh, WeBuilder slicing software. Look at that. That's funny. Hey, Adam. Thanks for dropping in. We're just kind of BSing around now. I should email Emmeline back. I haven't talked to them in a while. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it is a tiny printer. It's 100 by 105 by 100. And again, it is geared towards kids. I can see that. It's definitely geared to people who have never used a printer before, because there's an entire troubleshooting pamphlet that it came with it, which was pretty cool. Getting my Cetus 2 set up right now. Oh, nice. Dual extruder. Oh, nice. I thought Tinker Time was gone. I didn't realize they were still around. That is interesting. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's a printer that they've geared towards kids. It has decent safety features. I still need to figure out the whole thermal runaway to see if it has that. So I just have to reach up in there and pull the thermistor while I'm heating it and see what happens. But aside from that, it definitely has some good features to it. The one guy that added doors to it, I think, would be like, I think you could take the protector off the front of the hot end and add those small acrylic doors. I can't see it adding that much cost, honestly, for a company like this. Or maybe they could include 2 pieces of acrylic and have you 3D print with the spool the hinges and stuff like that for the acrylic. That would be kind of cool. You know, kind of like how you do with the Voron kits. You know, they give you all of the panels that you need to print the kit, and they give you the acrylic, and then you just have to put it all together. So, okay, true, you're right. Okay, so printing PLA would be more difficult. The cooling is, so I didn't see this when I first did the video, but it's an ABS injection molded sled. And the fan looks like it passes through the heatsink, goes into that, and then comes back out the bottom. Kind of similar to how the first Monoprice Mini did it. And then the Monoprice Mini 2, the second version, the black one, had a part cooling fan on it. But that seems to be how it's doing its part cooling. But I might end up designing or trying to find something online to be able to do that with and add a part cooling fan to it. But nothing it's come with has had any overhangs. And I don't really think that it's for anything like that. So adding that to it seems a little much, maybe. I don't know. That's hard to say whether it's worth doing that or not. What was I just gonna grab? I forgot. I was just gonna grab something. That totally slipped my mind. Yep, totally lost it. Fan with hose. See you later, Adam. Oh, a fan with a hose. So that's I have one of those. That's the Beard Air or Bird Air. That's this thing here. The schematic of it, yeah, here it is. Make bigger. Make bigger. You can't do it. So yeah, so this is basically what I have here. But I have it, there's like a pipe that comes with it that you can kind of form to and then basically zip tie to anything. And it just, it's really precise air. I had bought that originally to use on the FT5, what's now Metroplex, originally. But right now I've taken the part cooling off of there because I'm doing pretty much just ABS. So this might be a reason one night to pull that old sucker out and maybe go ahead and install it and see how it goes. Yeah, see here's a sample installation of it. They wound it around the hot end there. And then, because it gets, I mean, there is no more precise cooling than this type of system. But yeah, that's definitely something I can try and maybe do one day. Do that on a live stream one night, maybe. 12 volt or 24 volts. Same price. I mean, you can buy everything cheaper than the kit. Doesn't really make sense, but okay. Unless the kit comes with something that this doesn't, but it doesn't seem like it. Why does it have the Y adapter on there? Is this so doggone small? Do not use if not using side pipe. Oh, so you can do 2 different pipes to it in this V2 version. I don't know. I have a V1, I guess. I bought mine 2018, 2017 maybe to put on there, and I never got around to doing it. Never ended up doing it. Oop, let me check here real quick. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it really for tonight. got the general idea what I need to do for the sorter that I'm going to make. I'll probably finish up that design either later tonight or tomorrow offline, and then go out and get the wood next weekend maybe, or in the next few weeks. I don't think I'm going to do it that soon, but I would like to just go out and get it cut down, and then have it here so whenever I have time, I can just start working on it. Because again, drilling all those holes and mapping all that out is going to take a minute. I'll probably use the design here and end up probably just drawing it on just to make life easier and figuring that out. Because I'm also not sure exactly that the sidewalls are 12 mil. I need to go out and measure the wood that I already have for that. Because I gotta say, it's hard getting straight wood here, so what I have is hopefully good enough to use for this. Yeah, well, I guess that's pretty much it. I will be doing a video. Well, I need to do the extruders, the next video I'm going to do for the Legacy. Let me check my scheduling here. That's not what I wanted. Where's it at? Here it is. So part 5 is the extruder, and then part 6 is electronics and wiring. I should have did the hot end as its own video, but I think it's okay. They made that video a little bit longer than I was kind of wanting it to be. But doing the little Ben Adam threw me off with that one, dude. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the extruder. So yeah, I have all the parts, and then I got in the, where's that at? This is the, I got the clicky kits in. So to do clicky probe, I bought a kit for that. And then to do the extruder, I've got kits for that. So the nice thing about buying this in the kit is it already has the rod filed down, because you have to have some flat parts on it on the, what is that? It's a 5mm rod, I think it is, or 6mm, something like that. I think it's 5mm. And all the hardware is in here that you need. It's got a belt. It actually has 2 sets of extruder gears. I'm not really tracking why it has 2 sets of extruder gears, but okay. And then it has, maybe I bought that separate, I don't know. But then it has a ton of the push fittings for the PTFE tube to go into, which is great because I didn't have this. I need to install one in the top of the hot end assembly before I end up doing the extruder. So that print just finished. So I'll show you guys that bed real quick before I go, because it is the cutest little flex sheet. And that's all it is right there. It's just a piece of, I mean, like build tack stuff, I guess. Haven't cleaned it or anything. I've just been using it straight off like that. The heater is, I mean, it says it's supposed to heat to 50°C. It says it's 44 right now. It's definitely not. All right, I need to print that one more time, and we'll fire it away. And then I can start using big spools with this thing. Little string. Yeah, so I'll have the extruder video will be the next one I do for the Legacy. This engraver I'm going to do soon. I thought about doing it as a live stream, but there is just, I don't know if I really want to assemble that on a live stream because that could end up being long. So I'm going to think about it a little bit more. If I end up doing a live stream, that'll be later this week. I will assemble that on stream, or I will just start over the next few nights, kind of do an introduction and then just build it out. Because it's not a tutorial how to build it. I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of reviewing it and go from there. So, and then yeah, I've got about 6 or 7 videos that I want to do in the next month or two. Again, most of it's Ball and Legacy related. I have a package from PCBWay. They sponsored an aluminum part for me, a CNC part for Metroplex. So I'm gonna do a video on installing that, how I created the part, you know, a little bit of an ad from PCBWay, since again, they sponsored the video for it, which is very cool of them to do that. They had asked me to do, they wanted me to do for circuit board, but I was like, hey, I was gonna do that, but that project died. Can I do a CNC part? They're like, yeah, sure. Do you want us to 3D print anything? I was like, no, but CNC would be great. So expect some good content over the next few months. There'll be a little bit of a lull as I just got back from vacation. So I need to start actually recording and building and doing things. So I will be getting back to it here very, very soon. Just need to finish cleaning up the office. It's still a mess in here, and getting more prints done and working on stuff. So I thank you all for tuning in tonight. Got several things done, so can't really complain. Was able to use my time efficiently, so that was great. We'll see you guys hopefully very soon. Again, every Saturday I'll be doing my streams. If you want to talk with me or anybody on the team or anybody else, there's a link for Discord down below. Go ahead and check that out. We hang out there all the time, posting updates on my projects, other people's projects, prints, troubleshooting, anything you want to think about or talk about. Even random stuff, do that down there. If you want to support the channel, there's some links down below. Patreon, buy me a coffee, affiliate links, there's discount codes if you're using like Ziltech, anything like that. Using all those codes, things like that, sends a little bit my way and helps me buy things for the channel. So I thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.